Hello everyone, this is the Great Pumpkin speaking, and welcome to the second army report of this series about Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen on the Super Nintendo. So, since last time, our army pretty much changed entirely. My lord is now level 7 with 100 ally and 98 of charisma, which means I'm pretty much headed toward a good playthrough at least, and I've got plenty of reputation to boot, so that's nice. I've gotten a knight in this group as well as samurai, a cleric which is helpful against the undead, as well as a Valkyrie that I changed an Amazon into. So yeah, my second group is an evil group which consists of a wizard level 8, a ninja, which on the back row can use his ninjutsu 2 times as opposed to using his shuriken 3 times up front. I've got a raven man that I picked up in the deep water in Lake Jansenia, which is pretty good at the moment. It's got much better stat than an ordinary Hawkman, that's for sure. And I've got a werewolf that I also got in Lake Jansenia. The thing is, one of my fighter died against that werewolf boss and got infected by the werewolf virus, which is 1 chance out of 8, so that was really weird. But when I realized that the neutral encounter one had better stats than the one I had, I decided to ditch him. So yeah, I've got Blackie here now. Can use 3 smash both on the front and on the back. I'm actually surprised about that. I didn't think he smashed 3 times on the back. And I've got Jeffrey here, who's a beastman and uses whip 2 times wherever he is. I've got another group which is fairly similar to the one of my opinion leader, which is a samurai, 2 knights, a Valkyrie, and an Amazon. This other group here, I've got a witch in the back, which allows the golem to actually work up front. He attacks with 3 punch, but doesn't have a lot of HP, so whichever magic gets cast at him is gonna wreck him. That is why the witch is there. She stuns the entire party of the enemy and lets the golem pick up after her. I've also got a beastman and a dull mage there. Dull mage can use acid, a spell that hits everyone in the other unit, so that makes him pretty good. The problem is he has a chance to unstun everybody, which isn't nice. I've got a beastman here with a griffin because I realized my griffin was getting too high in alley, so I couldn't get him with the proper, how can I say? I wouldn't be able to turn him into a cockatrice because he had too much alley. The same can be said for that dragon I had taken. If you have a look here, dragon here has got 77 alley, which means he's gonna turn into a platinum dragon or a silver dragon or something pretty soon. Unfortunately, that's not what I want. I want a red dragon so I can get a salament later. There are 4 different types of dragon that you can realistically get. There's platinum dragon, which is through the silver dragon place, which also goes through the gold dragon, which is the good kind of dragon, of course. You've got the salmon, which is the neutral one, and the evil one is the black dragon and the Tiamat. The Tiamat can also be turned into a zombie dragon, which is a little different, which is basically a tankier version, which whenever it dies, it revives on its own. So yeah, it's a little less powerful than the Tiamat, particularly in back row, but it's pretty good. So yeah, that takes it for this one. I'm still waiting to get a proper dragon to put back in here so I can do something with him. I've got a group with a cleric and 2 Valkyries here, as well as a samurai and a knight. All of those knights and samurai are essentially backups. If I fail to turn one of them into their final classes to meet the challenge, then at least I'll have a few as backup in case that happens. In here, I've got another evil group which consists of a wildman, the class that Hauser was, which wasn't a beastman. I've got a worm up front, which can do 2 tails and makes the group high sky. I've got a ghost that I picked up in the program forest. Can use Soul Flay up front, which deals almost nothing really, and 2 Nightmare in the back, which is about the equivalent of a wizard. And I've got a wizard here with them. And that last unit consists of an imp that I also got in the program forest. Should be able to turn into a demon pretty soon. Can use Shock 2 times up front and Nightmare 1 time at the back. I've got an Hellhound with him, which can deal 3 smash up front and 2 fire up back. That's why I put him there, because I felt I didn't have a strong enough presence in the back row. I've got a skeleton with 0 HP, and which deals 2 slice up front. The thing about the skeleton and the ghost is that they're undead, so the only way to kill them is to have a cleric in your party that is not under the strong tactic, which means it's gonna get killed almost instantly. Or you can get holy weapons, which will also be able to kill them. This makes them really powerful in this version. Also got a pumpkin head back in Deneb's garden, which I turned into a Halloween. By not forgiving Deneb, I can go to one of the cities and get a pumpkin plus, or a rotten pumpkin if you will. This turns him into a Halloween, which allows him to cast probably the pumpkin move 2 times, either in the front or in the back. I'm thinking the front is a good place because he's got a lot of health for a level 1 character. And really, that's pretty much it. What the pumpkin move does is halve the HP of the opponent. So the stronger your opponent is, the more damage this is gonna do. This is why it's good to have a good back row with them. I kinda wish I could use more of those, but that's fine, that's another challenge. So now I'm headed for the Slums of Zenobia, which is a fairly hard stage. And we're gonna try to showcase those various units. I'll meet you whenever I make contact with the enemy. Later! And we're back! My opinion leader is about to make contact with the enemy, which are all flying units here. Level 7 griffins with a knight. And we've got samurai incoming, also with griffins. The reason why we see mostly flying units in this is because of those impenetrable walls against Zenobia Castle. This means that the only units that can get past that wall are flying units. But there's a way around that. In the city they're gonna sell us something that's gonna take down that wall. But that is not why I called you here. So we're gonna see how my opinion leader do against those things. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh. My mistakes. Forgot to turn on the animation. There she is, 25 damage from the opinion leader, that's actually pretty good. We're during the day where high element parties are the strongest. She's got a lot of HP, that's what she gets from getting all of those tarot cards. Despite having a pretty lousy draws on those, I'm doing pretty well as far as those go. They're not too powerful. What makes this stage complicated is that everything is high sky, so it's really difficult to actually finish a unit. Otherwise they're gonna go back to the base and come back at you. There are a few ways to deal with that, mostly getting more tarot cards through the shops, which allows you to buy jokers, or ambush them by placing high sky units right behind them, and then finishing them off as they try to flee. Either way was good, really. Doesn't really matter. So what's coming up here? Well, a Valkyrie with 2 cockatrices. Or there's Teddy's unit here. Consists about of the same thing as the Heroes group, that of my opinion leader. Got a lot of Valkyries. I've had a lot more problem building evil groups than I did good groups. It's easy to get really evil groups, but the thing is, the alignment and charisma requirements are fairly tight, so you gotta be careful on how you raise your characters. They're doing pretty alright, but I'm thinking they're gonna overkill this group, or they're gonna try to get back to a city or something. Huh. Still a character's good attack. That would have been nice, but that wasn't meant to be. Oh well, not a big deal. Not even sure if he can fly if they're dead. Probably doesn't matter much. He'll go as fast as my land units. Oh. He's almost gotten past Salada. I don't want that. There's Salada's group, fairly similar to the other one, if with a little more back row power. With that cleric to protect us. That gale attack is what Griffin do in the back row. Youch! The Yanuki Samurai can be pretty dangerous. What this does is attack with a fair amount of power from anywhere, but it also damages the samurai himself. That doesn't make him really attractive up front. That's the thing about the group we're facing. Once they're done doing their first attack, they're not doing much. I once done a group with a monk and 2 samurais out back. It did alright, despite all the damage that they took, but it's not all that great. So now that the night is coming, time to bring in the evil groups. Not actually sure whether we'll get to see Raoul this time around. Probably not. Might as well start with this one. We'll let the werewolves take the next one. Yeah, that should work. Okay, Chris met the enemy. For a second there, I thought it had killed my ghost. I didn't believe it. There he goes. 30 damage. That's not too bad. Was pretty good for a simple wild man. My wizard is messing up though. Yep, it's not gonna do anything. Everything misses undead. Except the thing to which they are actually weak to. Worms are pretty good all in all. The way things are looking, I'm thinking this group is gonna flee back to another city. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We see this one. Now let's get the other ones. I don't think we'll make it in time for the night. Let's get Transam up here. He might actually be able to finish up that group. Might actually stretch this a tiny bit just to show you what werewolves do, assuming it doesn't get petrified. During the day they're essentially fighters, like you see here. Not a whole lot of damage from that Raven man there, which is really sad to be honest. Caton. Much like the wizard, the ninja uses the spell to which the element to which the enemy is weakest. Really good defense there. We did alright. Oh, come on, dude. It's getting there. Guessing it's at least too low to do anything, really. Could probably do something against this with the tarot card, but I really don't see the point. Boop. It's the only game that I know of where the Pumpkinhead have an upgrade. Usually they're left as Pumpkinheads. Back at the Nintendo 64 version, they had something where the Pumpkinhead threw its halving move a bunch of times, but lost around half its health at one shot. This was really good to use with with healing things like priest or monk. So yep, that's a freaking werewolf, alright. Given that tonight this group is doing really great. That werewolf is pretty tanky. I'm impressed. Werewolf is a really good unit to get started as far as evil ones go. There aren't a lot of evil characters that get 3 attacks up front aside from the rate, which you get really far. And there's also an undead, which means it's kind of gamble. If you meet a lone cleric, then you're screwed. So yep, that's it for those groups. Let's get Mabel, our last group. I've got a few weapons in the inventory, which should make this stage a little easier. But at the moment, there's not a whole lot I can do. Let's get him! We might be able to wipe that unit. I'm not entirely sure, but we might be able to. Them beastmen though. My golem isn't gonna last. Boop. Oh. I think a wipe is now out of the question. Ew. My golem is dead. Unfortunately, that kind of thing can happen, which is not a big deal. We've got consumables to revive them. But that's gonna be it for now. Thank you for watching, everyone. This was the Great Pumpkin. I'll see you back at the next army report. Bye bye!